We talking about influencers. Why aren't we reaching out to our clients, aka customers, to be those influencers? They're already using your product. Listen, when you advertise, right, or you're marketing, let's use old school real estate for a second. When we got a listing, whether it's an apartment or a property for sale, who do you typically market that property to first? The surrounding properties.
The theme for today's show is there's a lot that goes into building
I know your brand.
businesses. There's a lot that goes into building a brand and to marketing. It's not just your business's name. It's not just the colors or the marks that represent who you are. When it comes to creating a strong brand, there are different things that you can do to help influence how people receive your brand and what they think about your brand. And in this day and age, your digital footprint is so powerful. You thought I was going to say something different. It's such a powerful tool for shaping perception. And so today we want to tell you 6 specific actionable tactics or approaches you can use to build your business's digital footprint so that people will trust in your ability to solve their problems and will spend money with you.
Yeah, and let me be clear. I'm no social media guru. We're just talking about some things that we've done and we've seen some results from. I'm sure you could go read some articles or Google some other stuff, and people will sell you some other stuff too that you could do, or you could sign up for their power likes and follower masterclass, and you could
Fiverr.
Pay,
you can buy followers on Fiverr.
You could pay for their special engagement package that will drive your engagement up. Listen, I'm not speaking to any of that. We're just speaking to some things we've done, and we've narrowed it down to 6 for this episode that we've done in our businesses on our personal and with social, and we've seen it move the needle. That's it.
And
that's it.
I would dare say with these particular
put the disclaimer,
6.
I am not a social media guru. Results may vary.
These particular tips we've found to be beneficial, not just because we've tried them, but we've used them with some level of consistency. So whatever tactics you're going to use to build your business, to build your brand, to market, to reach out to people, remember, it's not just a one and done. You have to do it with some consistency. Otherwise, you'll miss the mark. So, Chief, when it comes to having a digital footprint or digital presence, how would you describe the digital presence of the Soapbox?
I would say on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being totally awesome and 1 being you suck, the Soapbox is probably like around 3.75 right now.
You know how I roll. I don't do any partial numbers, only whole numbers. And my scale would be a scale of 1 to 10.
No, you do odd numbers.
I mean, 1 to 7. 1 to 7. 1 to 7.
I use odd numbers. I said 1 to 5.
But you said 3.7.
Yeah, because I got to give some credit where credit's due. SB is doing some stuff.
Okay.
But, yeah. So I'd say like 3.75 because we got some room to grow. We're doing some.
But that's just a number. Like if you describe it like in terms, what you think of the digital presence of the Soapbox.
Like, what do I think?
Like if you met somebody on the street and you were trying to
describe it.
Yes.
It's a reflection of what we do and how we do it, and who's involved in the process of what we do and how we do it. So it's a visual representation of what we do, how we do it, and who we do it for, as well as the reaction of those of who we do it for, displayed on our social media on Instagram.
Oh, okay. That's a good description.
Well, thank you. I practiced that for my pitch coming up in February. Dun, dun, dun. We're taking the show on the road, ladies and gentlemen.
Come along if you down.
It's getting very interesting over here in JSB, TSB, Commerce and Chill land. It's very
taking it up a
interesting.
notch. Taking it up a notch. And then how would you describe the digital presence for your personal brand?
Ice box.
What does that mean?
It's cold and it's on hiatus. I only post once in a while on my social. Actually, we just had a conversation about it today. Oh, look at LinkedIn blowing up. Somebody posted a post I'm tagged in, and it's getting fire.
Why is it cold and on hiatus?
Well, because I haven't posted anything on a regular basis. I put some stuff up, a reel the other day. It's got about 3,500 views right now, and some decent engagement. But it was a video from Commerce and Chill. But we just had a discussion today about type of content, the format of it, for to get re-engaged with the profile on a more regular basis.
Well, you mentioned engagement and you mentioned the number of views. Whatever tips or tactics you put into play, make sure that you're measuring the results of what you do so that you can determine what's working and what's not working. And then ultimately, engagement should be one of the goals that you consider, because you don't just want to be yelling or directing information at people. You really want to start a dialogue or an exchange where it's back and forth, and the level of engagement can help to impact your sales and the brand loyalty that your customers have or your followers have, and then also help to build community.
Right. Unless you're just posting for the fun of it and you really don't care about those things. You're just enjoying life and you're just posting. Like you post a picture of yourself smiling every day. What's up, Christopher? Like my man.
Christopher Leon Johnson, our number one.
He'll take
our
a photo everywhere
community
and
member.
he just smiles. And I'm like,
Doesn't he make you want to smile too, though?
damn real. Every time I see it, I'll be like, click. You got to love it. So depends on, what's your reasons for doing it. What's your goals? And then, like you said, look at that data accordingly. Otherwise, like if you're just doing it because you enjoy doing it, or you just want to share a happy moment or a sad moment or just whatever's going on in that moment, then who cares about the analytics and all the data and all those vanity metrics? Just put it out there because you enjoy doing it. But we're talking about for business, though.
Right,
It's
for
a little
business.
different.
And particularly if you're looking at doing partnerships, potential partners and sometimes even potential clients will want to know what your numbers are, what your social media numbers are, what your engagement numbers are. Especially
if you're trying to, on the other side of the fence. So let's say your business, you want to get some more exposure. You see someone who's a, KOL or influencer.
What is a KOL? Cole? Is that like a King goal?
Like Kohl's. I don't know. Nah. Key opinion leader. It's like an influencer. Like, someone who has a lot of followers and engagement on Instagram or some social media platform, right? TikTok, even LinkedIn, etc. Like you might be interested in getting more exposure for your business. So you do some kind of, partnership or collaboration with them. You want to check their stats. Like
and people want to do business with people that already have a following in many instances.
You just don't want to. You just don't want to say, okay, I'll pay you to promote, to use my product and make a video or take a picture with it, and then they got a bunch of followers that they just bought from somebody. Like you want them to send me screenshots of, your engagements from your brand partnership post, or, look at their comments, scroll through it. Like go look at the people who follow them and see, like, are these real accounts? Like you can tell a fake account when you look at it. I mean, it's not really hard to figure out. How, you look at the account. What's the engagement like on that account? How often do they post? Like, is that account engaging with this person? Like, do you see comments? And then when you do see comments, are they always emoji comments or some random word
I like
comment?
to leave emoji comments.
Yeah, but you look at the emoji comment and see, is it relevant? Is it relative to what the post? Like I'll see people put like emoji comment and it's like rocket ships. And then the post to be like their dog died. And I'm like, so the dog is going to the moon? Like Petco stock just went up because your dog died? Why are they putting rocket ship emojis? Or they use one of these, they're using some, bot that just says, your picture is awesome. Like that's a classic one that I see. Like your imagery is great, or your photos are great, and I'm like, bro, it's not a photo, it's a video. And then I just like look at that kind of stuff, and just be aware.
So, Chief, are you ready to share the top 6 tips for social media for small businesses in 2022?
The top 6 tips, suggestions from our experience for social media in 2022. Yeah,
to build your brand in 2022.
Yeah, go for it.
Number 1, reach out to influencers, dedicated customers.
I think I was just talking about that.
Yeah, but you say KOL. You threw people all off with that.
I'm sorry. What the heck? I read it somewhere. I thought it sounded good.
Smarty-arty. Number 2 is connecting online shops with social media accounts. Connecting online shops with social media accounts. Number 3, focusing on results-driven advertising strategies. Focusing on results-driven advertising strategies. And number 4, sharing short-form video content on social media. Short-form content, video form on social media. Number 5, breaking long-form content into micro content. Breaking long-form content into micro content. And number 6, examining relevant public data to drive content. Relevant public data. Chopping that up and drive content. So, Chief, number 1, reaching out to KOL, influences, and dedicated customers.
Well, I kind of talked about that already, so I am not going to beat that horse.
Just remember, when we're thinking about influencer, it's easy to think about the folks that have gazillion followers.
Yeah, I'll take the person with 200 followers and they get mad engagement. Like they have a community. Think about it. 200 people show up to your business right now to make a purchase. Is that a lot of customers in one shot or what? But people look at 200 followers on Instagram or one of these social media platforms and you poo-poo on somebody. Mistake. And you should be having your customers, we talking about influencers. Why aren't we reaching out to our clients, AKA customers, to be those influencers? They're already using your product. Listen, when you advertise, right, or you're marketing, let's use old school real estate for a second. When we got a listing, whether it's an apartment or a property for sale, who do you typically market that property to first?
I don't know. Is it real estate?
The surrounding properties.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You'll put flyers on their door, property for sale, blah, blah, blah. Because there is a chance that because they live in that area, they have friends or know of people who potentially might want to move in that area also. So they'll spread the word, and depending what's going on, they might have some vested interest too in recommending, because they might want one of their friends to become their neighbor or a family member, or maybe they want to get the property themselves because they want to expand their holdings on the block.
I think for me, the most important aspect of reaching out to influencers and dedicated customers is realizing that an influencer again is not necessarily someone with millions of followers, but influencer is basically anyone
Could be
with
people.
a platform.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to create online content. They don't necessarily have to be all up in the videos. And so figure out, based on what you do, your business does, who your target is, what an influencer looks like, and then find that influencer. All right, number 2, connecting online shops with social media accounts.
Oh, that's like super simple. So if you're selling some kind of service or product online, I would definitely go to like Facebook or one of these other platforms where you can activate what's called the shop feature. Mm-hmm. So someone can buy things through your social media platform that's connected to your website. So they could see your products for sale that on your website. So I don't know, you sell candles. You have candles listed on your website, e-com, for people to click on and buy through your website. Well, link that your website to your Instagram, Facebook, and whatever other social media platform you can. So when someone's looking through your feed, you could you have a post of one of your products. That image, when someone clicks on it, can take them to your shop on social media where they could execute a transaction there, or you could have it take them over to your website to complete the transaction.
The key is that you want to minimize friction, because eliminating the need to visit a third-party website keeps the consumer immersed in your brand longer and tends to lead to better results.
Yeah, just be mindful of whatever the shop's agreements are on these different social media platforms, because I've been burned once, and I'm good with that not happening again.
Number 3, focusing on results-driven advertising strategies. Focusing on results-driven advertising strategy. Just really quickly, we recently had dinner with our coach, Uncle Mike, our favorite octogenarian, and we were talking through some business challenges, and he was just like, focus on the results.
Right.
Focus on the results. And we were talking in particular with people. Who you have on the team, and making sure that folks are performing to your standards. But it's no different when it comes to building your brand. You want to make sure that when you're spending money for advertising, especially on social, where there's a wealth of data that's available to help you target the appropriate audience, that you're not just spending your money willy-nilly, but that your money is focused on advertising that's going to get you the results that you seek.
Yeah, just whatever you're doing, figure out some way to track it. You're like, well, I'm working with this influencer or a client we gave them this discount code for them to promote because they're very active in the local community where you want your business to reach more people. Make the code unique to them. Like, there's some simple things you could do, but just do something that's you can track. And it doesn't have to be all like, IBM Watson type sophisticated. It could just be like, here's a unique code that says like try 35, and you give it to this one person, and you see that code was used 15 times. You're like, I got 15 sales from that person. Now, I don't know if they went and told 15 of their friends just use it so they look good or whatever, but you got 15 sales from that try 35 code. So just do stuff that you can measure, and don't think it's got to be all super complicated and fancy. It could just be that code. You look in your system, you see it was used 12 times. You go to a spreadsheet, you put try 35 code, gave it to this person, got 12 sales from it, from this date range to this date range. Woo! You got data.
And if you need any other ideas on what you can do for around results-driven advertising strategies, go back and listen to the episodes that we did with Mike Allen. He gave some very good tips on how to implement results-driven advertising strategies. Because keep in mind, if you do it correctly, you can help significantly add to your brand's overall revenues and profits. And
you know what to do again because it worked.
You can get some money to do it. You can use that free Google coupon and do your A/B testing. But go back and listen to the episode, watch the episode, and hear from Mike's mouth directly. Number 4, share short form video content on social media.
Yeah, that's super interesting. We've had some recent success. We were looking at the stats today. YouTube has new piece called, it's not new, but it's fairly new, called Shorts. Like, take some of your long form content and chop it up into smaller pieces and run it as shorts. Like, get right to the point. Deliver some content that's going to give people the meat and potatoes like right away, instead of them having to watch a 15-minute video or a 5-minute video. Like, take some short form content that gets right to the punch. Keep in mind, people are bombarded on a regular basis all the time. And because of that, people's attention span is short. So we started running shorts on YouTube, and we've seen our view rate go up dramatically. Like, our completion rate on some videos now is like over 100% at times. It'd be like 110, 108. Then other times it's like 85, 90. Well, it's a couple things, I think. But regardless, it's engaging more people. We have more subscribers now. We're up to 224. Look at that. Like, it's popping like Jiffy Pop. Take what you have, put it out there, or create short form. Like, just create it. Get the phone, flip the camera around it, and just go to work. And some short videos. It doesn't have to be anything super long and drawn out.
The key is to make it of a bite size portion so that it's easy for people to digest it.
Palatable. Is that to say that right?
Yeah,
Come on.
Kinda. I mean, that's the right word, but not.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would use it in this context.
Make it good for the palate.
Well, that's more like for taste as opposed to
For my visual and audio palate.
Okay, that's fine. I'll let you say go with that.
What's the next?
Number 5, break long form content into micro content, which is
Kind of
what we were doing. I mean, you were talking from one side of the coin.
Right. I was talking about creating it, but you might, let's say you have a podcast.
Yes.
You could take
Say
that.
we have a podcast.
Right. Instead of making all new content, why can't you post it? Okay. You post your podcast, the video part of it on YouTube, right? And it's 29 minutes. Then you say, you know what? I'm strip the audio from the podcast and post that on Anchor or Apple Podcasts, right? Or Google Podcasts or Amazon, whatever podcast, right?
Or you put it on YouTube with some interesting graphics.
Yeah, you just
and
talking.
repurpose it.
I see that all the time. Like these
Goodness,
inspirational,
yes,
motivational, and
yes.
it's somebody talking. They put some imagery in the background.
Somebody
Some water
running
flow, and
through
somebody
the
running like
woods,
yeah, and
water.
then you're just listening to it, and they're getting views and
It's a
clicks.
beach. It's a high-rise building in Manhattan.
You are manifesting money. You are a positive person.
Raise your head. Don't be sad.
You
Don't be shy.
are surrounded by individuals
Abundance is coming
who
to
want
you.
to see you success.
Yeah. Okay. So there are many different
Abundance
ways that
is
you
in
can
your
do
future. You are rich.
it. Just take
You
what
are
you already
smart.
have and break it
You are a
down.
master of your own fate. Yeah. Then you take that long form content, you put it on YouTube, you put the audio on some audio podcast, and then you look at your long form content and say, hey, what could I do with 29 minutes worth of content? Well, here's a piece where I talked about, I don't know, the best strategies we use to find good talent. And that's 30 seconds. So you cut that piece out of that 29 minutes and then you post that 30 seconds on LinkedIn, right? It's a business platform. People could get insights on hiring practices that you share with them and you put that there. So that's taking a long form piece of content and then putting it in a short.
The key is when you have the short form pieces of content, whether it's a video or these other things that we've mentioned, always point back to the long form content. So for example, if you take that 30 seconds of how to get great team members and you post it on LinkedIn, in the LinkedIn caption, make sure that you reference the YouTube link for that whole 29 minutes.
So now you get engagement on 2 different platforms. They watch it on LinkedIn and hopefully they want to see more. They click on the link that you put in the caption, and then that drives them to your YouTube channel, and then they consume some more content there.
That way you create deeper connections with your audience.
And you make less work for yourself because you already filmed something. You already have this one piece of content, and you just use it once. You put it on YouTube. No. What else is in there that could add value to someone? So then sit there and chop that up. It's like a pizza pie. You don't just put the whole pie down and get a knife and fork and then start cutting pieces out and eat it. They slice it and then give it to you. And then you pull out one slice at a time. Do the same thing with your long form content. Slice it up and then distribute it on different places.
Got it. And then number 6, examine relevant public data to drive content. There is a lot of public data available. I mean, we're fortunate. We work with the city, we work with the state, we work with the federal government. That makes a lot of data publicly available, but there are also nonprofit organizations, community-based organizations, and a number of large corporations that repurpose public data to tell a story. So why not do that for your brand? Why not do that for your business? Find the data that supports what you do. So for example, here in New York State, we know that the number of security guards who are licensed has decreased by over 10% in the last 2 years.
Somebody could use that data for their security training school as some form of content.
Somebody could use that for the security guard services firm to say if the number of guards are going down and people are already feeling unsafe due to what's considered a public safety crisis, then maybe you need to have a company that has licensed people to provide your services.
Or you might use that in your proposal to justify why your price is higher than your nearest competitor because there's a lack of resources and you're compensating your team members on a higher level to make sure that you keep quality people to protect their locations and provide good service.
So just some quick statistics from statusbrew.com. 71% of small to mid-sized businesses use social media to market themselves. And of those who do, 52% post at least daily. What's up with the other 48%?
Because right up there with that number of small businesses we talked about earlier.
Next. 63% of customers expect businesses to offer customer service through their social media.
Fact. Like
However, if you're not
messages.
responsive to customers on social media, that's not a good look for your business.
Yeah, just download the apps to your phone and turn on the notifications. And make sure your phone is not busted like mine, because then you don't get the notifications.
We can get you another phone. And number 3, 90% of social media users have already connected with a business or brand through their preferred platform. So remember, you got to meet people where they are. What is their platform of choice? That's where you should be for your target business, their target business customer or client.
Yeah, they're like people who are already using your service. Listen, what is it, the 80-20 rule? 80% of your revenue comes from 20%, or 80% of your results comes from 20% of your whatever.
Yeah.
Like 80% of your revenue, if you sat back and looked at it, I'm sure majority of your revenue is coming from a core group of clients you have. Focus, don't ignore everybody else, but focus on them and turn them into your advocates, your ambassadors for your brand. Because if they've been like, we've got people who've been using like JSB or the box for years. And like I kick myself in the face sometime when someone from the box reaches out and like, they're like, yeah, we end up having some dialogue and they're like, yeah, I've been using you guys for like 4 years. And I'll be like, damn, they've been using us since we started almost. Right? Like, damn, I was like, I need to send like edible arrangement or a box of cookies or something to their house to just be like, thank you. But not also that, like, what are we doing that has kept you using us all these years? Like, why haven't you switched to somebody else? There's tons of other services out there like us. Why have you continued to use us for 4 years consistently? And then find out why. Use that data to get more people, to reach more people, and then get that person involved in it too, sharing like their story to more people, or their circle of influence, I think it is.
Circle of influence.
Sphere of influence, or whatever it's called. Yeah, there you go.
So it's a no-brainer. Social media is more prominent than ever, and social media allows you to touch customers and clients across the globe. The scientists, the data analysts, the data scientists, the developers at these different social media organizations are constantly tweaking the algorithms. And so if you are going to get and stay ahead as a small business owner, you need to leverage social media as best as you can and be ready to evolve with the changes on the different platforms. So these 6 tips for building your brand using social media in 2022 is just the beginning. As we test and try different things and get different results, we'll be sure to share those with you. Nonetheless, if you start with any of these 6 tips and do them with consistency, you will definitely see results.